Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and this is the review for one of my top 10 most anticipated films of 2019, Knives Out, from Rian Johnson. And I love Rian Johnson. I'm a huge fan of The Last Jedi, a huge fan of Looper, and I was really excited about this film and this whodunit. And really getting lost in this film and couldn't wait to see this. And I missed out on getting to see the early screenings last week, so I did get to see it this weekend. Absolutely love this film. One of my favorite films of the year. From a technical aspect, it's pitch perfectly directed. The pacing's great. Just the staging of everything. The music by Nathan Johnson really gets you engrossed in this, like, whodunit. You feel like from the opening scene that you're in this murder mystery because of all these crazy strings, and you're really feeling the atmosphere that Johnson's trying to build for this film. And Steve Yedlin, who's his cinematographer who works on all of his films, this is pitch perfectly created. The framing is so important in this film because it really captures little details that are going to come back later. And this film, written by Rian Johnson, is so clever. Just one of the most impressive things about this film is how little tiny visual details, like tipping of the hand towards the beginning of the film, can come back and be so important later in the film. And everything comes back. And it's so impressive how somebody was able to write this script with all this little details that all come together, where it's like you could go back and see the little details and be like, I could have saw this coming, but I didn't, because it was so well put together. Not gonna lie, some of the people with me kind of guessed what this film was and where this film was going. But here's the interesting thing. The way this film was told is not what you expect from a whodunit. And I'm not going to say specific details, but how this film structures its story and reveals details is so impressive. And one of my favorite aspects of this film is towards the beginning when our two detectives, one Lakeith Stanfield, and this other trooper, and Benoit Blanc. I'm going to talk about Daniel Craig in a little bit, and how they're talking to each of the family members, and how they have these little visual cues of how each of their stories are different is so great, especially when they're bringing the cake down in front of Christopher Plummer's character, and how it's different each story, and who was that right there with them when they were putting the cake down. It's just like, that's pretty interesting. And the eclectic group of characters in this are so great. And Daniel Craig's character, Benoit Blanc, this private investigator, feels like that Perot kind of character where it's like, this story inherently isn't about him, but he's in it this whole entire film, and he's there at every corner, looking for that donut hole. And just some of the ridiculous things this guy says, it's hilarious, and I absolutely love it. And Daniel Craig is great. He's hilarious, and he really goes headlong into this role. And everybody else, I was really surprised about Ana de Armas and how big of a role she is. She's really the main character of this film, and she's great. I loved her in this film. I loved her in Blade Runner 2049, and she carries this film really, really well. And then you get this whole collection of this whole entire family. You get little cameos from, like, M. Emmett Walsh, and Frank Oz is great. But this family, Jamie Lee Curtis is great. Really owns all the scenes that she's in. Don Johnson's a lot of fun. Michael Shannon has some moments where he gets the Michael Shannon and get really intense because, like, inherently his character doesn't seem like that normal, like, I'm really intense kind of Michael Shannon performance, but he has his moments. And Lakeith Stanfield as this lieutenant, he has a lot of fun moments too. He has some sassy moments. And there's a lot of meta commentary on this film and whodunit films. And he even calls out Blanc a lot, and that's a lot of fun. Chris Evans is great in this film. Christopher Plummer, for all the moments he gets to shine in this film, he really shines. And just everybody in this film. Toni Collette's a lot of fun. It's just a great cast. and great performances all around, the great story. It's hilarious. This film's hilarious, but really captures those moments, and there's a lot of unexpected humor in it that is just straight up laugh out loud funny. But you're caught up in this mystery, you want to find out how this all went down, and it's really satisfying when you get to that climax. I would want to see more Benoit Blanc kind of mysteries. And if Ryan Johnson decides to continue doing some of these whodunits, I'll be first in line to see them. I love this film. I recommend this for everybody. Well, obviously, don't take your kids to this. It's violent. There's a lot of cursing. It's definitely rated R. But this is a great film for all kinds of audiences. And I feel like a lot of people find different things to get out of this. From cinephiles to those looking for just a good time. Those lovers of murder mysteries, this is a great one. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think about Knives Out. And let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland reviewer.